You want to know the single most absurd comment made in sports media all year? It wasn't about a bad call or a terrible trade. It was about faith. Listen to this.
Home fourth inning. Oscar Brosbon's retired 5 in a row. Matt Shaw leads off for the Cubs. He had a base hit his first time up. Shaw had Cubs World in a tizzy this weekend when he was not here for the Cubs game with the Reds. Game they lost 1-0, and in which his lack of presence was felt. It was later revealed that he had been given permission to attend Charlie Kirk's funeral. And I don't want to talk about any of the politics of it, but the thought of leaving your team in the middle of a race for any reason other than a family emergency really strikes me as weird.
It's unusual. I think it's unprecedented, at least from my experience as a player, and I think it made it a little bit more unusual that it was not revealed until after it came to issue, because he was thought to be in the dugout and maybe available, and then was not, and that's how it was revealed. So it became maybe more of a story than it could have been had it been addressed from the beginning.
Shaw strikes out to start the inning. Do you think the fact that he's a rookie changes the equation at all and makes it more or less egregious?
As I said, I think it's something that would certainly be unusual during my era. But then again, there was no paternity leave. There was no bereavement leave when I played at all. You showed up and, just found a way to get through work. But that has changed. That has changed.
Well, but I thought it was telling that the reason that they didn't tell anybody and that they had to play a man short was that the situation did not qualify for baseball's bereavement list.
Bereavement is direct.
Got to be family. So
right.
I think that in and of itself gives you a clue as to how it was received by a lot of people. In any event.
Weird. That is what the media called Chicago Cubs rookie Matt Shaw for missing one game to attend the memorial service of his friend, Charlie Kirk. A friend who was a Christian brother, a mentor, and a huge Cubs fan. We are here to set the record straight. Matt Shaw didn't do anything weird. He did something heroic. The media wants you to believe this was a political stunt, but Shaw has been crystal clear. He met Charlie Kirk last offseason when they lived in the same Arizona apartment complex. They didn't bond over politics, they bonded over their Christian faith. When Charlie was assassinated, Shaw was devastated, and when Charlie's widow, Erica, personally asked him to attend the service, he felt it was a duty. He had permission from his manager and veteran teammates.
Charlie, he was someone that I met at the apartments in Arizona where I lived, and then someone who was one of the biggest Cubs fans I ever met. And he texted me after every game, great win for the Cubbies, and he was super, super supportive of us, and obviously someone who's really faithful, so we connected on that front. I made sure that everybody I talked to, I had their support, that they knew why I was going, that I wasn't leaving just to leave, that it was something that was really important to my faith.
But the sports commentators didn't care about faith or friendship. They focused on the fact that he was not on the bereavement list, and the team lost a pivotal game 1-0. They called it unprecedented. Think about that. They are literally arguing that unless the death qualifies under a bureaucratic contract, your actions are weird. They prioritize a single baseball game, one of 162, over honoring the life of a friend and adhering to a deeply held religious commitment. The only thing weird is the commentator's inability to grasp human compassion, and this is where the hypocrisy comes in. This criticism is nothing but thinly veiled political and cultural bias. Let's be real. If Matt Shaw had missed a game to attend a memorial for George Floyd or any other figure celebrated by the secular left, those same commentators would not just stay silent. They would praise him for his bravery and his sacrifice for social justice. But because the subject of the memorial was Charlie Kirk, suddenly it's a topic of heated criticism. The message is clear: You can be woke, but you dare not be faithful, just like this.
Brinson announced as the leadoff hitter for Miami. And all of the Marlins and Mets have come out of their dugouts. Michael Wacha takes off his hat, and all the Mets on the field are removing their hats as well. And now, after a moment of silence that lasted 42 seconds, the day before we celebrate Jackie Robinson Day, the Mets are exiting the field after both teams exchanged a wave of caps to one another. So it would appear as though, after a poignant moment, that the Mets and Marlins will not be playing baseball tonight. And a Black Lives Matter shirt left on top of home plate.
The scale of what Matt Shaw attended was massive. We are talking about a memorial that drew over 90,000 people to State Farm Stadium, with leaders like President Trump speaking. This was not a small gathering. It was the public farewell to one of the biggest conservative and faith leaders of his generation. Matt Shaw knew his decision would invite hatred from the media, but he went anyway. That is courage. Matt Shaw stood in front of the cameras and made his final statement, and it's a quote for the history books.
I haven't had social media for about 4 years now. You know, whatever backlash comes is okay. You know, I feel strong about my faith.
Shaw was personally invited.
That's the kind of leadership we need in this country, a rare display of courage and integrity. In an era where everyone is terrified of corporate backlash and media condemnation, Matt Shaw chose his friend, his values, and his God over the fear of criticism. That is what true integrity looks like. It is a model for every young person and every American who is being told they must compromise their deeply held beliefs to fit into the modern world. Support a man who stands by his faith, his friends, and his principles. If you agree, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video to push back against the woke mob who tried to shame him.